Okay, for this week, we are still on sound, but we are going to be focusing on phonology. Okay, so remember the difference between phonetics and phonology. Phonetics is really just looking at sounds in general, how humans articulate certain sounds, describing certain sounds. So, for example, when we're looking at the difference between the sounds in, especially the vowels in Spanish versus English, we're talking about exactly how those sounds are made within the mouth, even though the speakers of those languages might not be able to understand the differences or talk about the differences because it is subconscious knowledge. So when we're getting into phonology, now we're looking at specific languages and the different combinations of sounds that they have. So the phonological inventory, it means all the sounds that a language has, and then the combinations of sounds that those languages can have. Okay, so we've got 4 assignments this week. The first one is a quiz. And I really want to make sure that you understand or have in your mind or have somewhere the definitions of these words. So when Dr. Ashworth explains phonology, he's going to refer to these, and it's really important that you know what they mean. Okay. So watch the video first, and then the PowerPoint is mostly what the quiz is based on. So you're going to want to have this PowerPoint up, and it's going to be asking about what it's talking about in the PowerPoint. Okay. And then we're going to be talking about Hmong versus English phonology. So I've got some links here for you. And I know that you already are familiar with the consonants and vowels of English, but you might want to just take a look to review what these links are all about. And then getting into the phonology of Hmong. So vowels and tones of Hmong are really important, and that's a big difference between Hmong and English. So make sure that you take a look at this. And you're also going to want to read up on just the general phonology. And then I have a list here, or Venn diagrams here, of consonants and vowels in both languages, the ones that they have in common and the ones that are different, to give you an idea. You can just have like a snapshot of the different sounds. Okay, so here's what I want you to answer. Based on your understanding of the phonological inventories of both languages, list 3 English words that Hmong speakers may have trouble pronouncing. They probably will have trouble pronouncing. Okay, so remember, if a sound combination does not exist in the first language, if consonants or vowels are not exactly the same in the first language, then those are words that the learners are going to have trouble with. And then just, this is kind of your opinion. There are a couple of different possible answers for this. What do you think is going to be the most difficult thing about learning Hmong for an English speaker? So you're an English speaker, and all the background that you have about Hmong now, reviewing all that information, what seems like the most difficult thing? Okay. Then we're talking about teaching phonological awareness. So this is a really important concept and something that we kind of touched on last week, but we're really going to get into it. I've got a video here for you, and then a document that has some different activities that teach phonological awareness. And here's what I want you to do. Give me a definition. What does phonological awareness mean? Why is it important? And then I want you to come up with an activity. Okay, so try not to use one that they talked about in the article. Try to come up with your own or remember something that you did when you were in elementary school or preschool, or if you're working in a classroom, something that the teacher is doing or you're doing with the kids now that teaches phonological awareness. Okay. And then you're going to describe it. And then the discussion is very open-ended this week. So I just want you to talk about, everything that you learned about phonetics, phonology, phonological awareness, teaching phonological awareness, of all of that we've been talking about for the last 2 weeks, maybe even going back into language acquisition. What is the thing that stood out to you the most? What is the most important thing that everyone from this class should know? And then choose 2 replies and really focus on one thing that your classmates said and try to expand it or give more information on it. And then that takes us to the end of the week. All right. This is a great week. We're really getting into some details here with teaching and sounds. So let me know if you have any questions, if anything comes up, or you need any help on anything. And I can't wait to see what you post in the discussion. All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.